FAU has just got their first win under the coach Zach Kittley era. Owls improved to 1-1 after beating Florida A&M, an FCS win. And yes, it's an FCS win, but a win is a win and a dominant win at that. Blake, after yesterday's game, and you were at the game,
Was
how do
there?
you overall feel? Because you did win, you did dominate, but it's an FCS team. So should FAU really be dwelling on this game that much because they played a team that they're way more talented than?
Look, the issue here with this game for me is the fact that you know, I think during yesterday's game, there was a little buzz on the field after we all heard USF beat Florida. And I think, it's great to get the win over FAMU. And I'm very happy about how everything looked in general with the starters out there and the offense playing good, special teams making big plays. I just feel like FAU is almost in another tier of the American Conference. And that is what scares me about this team. Like, I feel like you have like the USF, the Tulane, arguably Memphis just a tier below it, or maybe in that top tier of teams in the conference. And FAU is just not up there with them. Now, I saw a lot of great things yesterday. I think this is the best game that Veldkamp has played. This is the best game that receiving corps has played. Trayshawn Platt, Assad Wasim, Easton Messer all looked very good. I liked how our defense played in general. And obviously special teams is a huge fact. The block punt is still something that rings in my mind. I think this FAU home crowd did look pretty good. I think and we're taking into account the entire program here with this win because it is the first game and the first win of Kitley's career in coaching. I thought he did coach a very solid game. I think he made some good decisions going forward on fourth down, staying aggressive, not getting into third and longs. The run game looked pretty good. I like Jamari Sands. I liked Shields Dutton when he came in near the end of the game. Xavier Terrell was not as featured as I think we thought he would be coming into the season, but Shields Dutton and Sands have looked very good. Overall, FAU, a great win, but we have to, keep this momentum in some effect when we get in these conference games because I think this American Conference is very strong. Obviously, the strongest G6 conference in the nation right now. And with a team like USF that's on the schedule right now, I think that game is now in the back of FAU's mind because they know they have to go up against a team that might possibly be ranked when they face them. So I'm excited about this FAU team. I'm excited about what we can see from them. And the Maryland game is still in the back of my mind. Are we going to be able to beat a great team? I think this team can hang in there with good teams, but are we going to be able to beat a great team and stay in and hang in with them? So we'll see how the coming weeks progress when we face some tougher opponents, but it's good to get a win.
Yeah, Blake, it certainly is indeed. And USF, if they beat Miami next week and they do play Miami, I could see it happening. If you beat Florida, you could compete with Miami for sure. This could be a top 10 team when FAU heads up to Tampa if they do get a top 5 win next week against University of Miami. I want to go back to one of the things you mentioned with the tiers because I kind of somewhat agree with you. And when it comes to these tiers, you mentioned Memphis. They might be a tier below or in that tier with the USFs and the Tulanes. But where does FAU kind of fall within that tier? And does that mean they don't have a chance to compete with these top teams? Does that mean that they can't win? And how do you see this team getting up to the top tier?
Yeah, that's a good question. I guess if we're gonna go, I'll do numbers here. So obviously USF Tulane 1, Memphis 2. I think the tier 3 is like the middle of the pack team. So I think a tier 3 team in the American Conference team that I think can win. Um, 3 to 5 games in their conference schedule. I think that's where FAU falls in that tier 3 level. They could definitely get 3 conference wins at the bare minimum and possibly jump into that 5-6 win in the conference category. Tier 2 teams I got like that 5 and above, and obviously tier 1. I think those are the teams that have the chance of going into the conference championship. So FAU I think falls into that tier 3 level. I think they're gonna win a lot of their conference games. It's just the two that I'm thinking about mainly, USF and Memphis and even possibly Navy, even though they lost a lot of people. Those are going to be the crucial games in FAU's in-conference schedule. I think, and also, you lose to a non-conference opponent, Maryland, so that doesn't hurt you in the conference. And then you go ahead and beat an FCS team. So right now your conference slate is 0-0. got the entire season to possibly go ahead and win that conference. So I think FAU, their mindset should be going into their conference schedule, which is coming up very shortly, that, like, look, if we notch off these wins, I think they can have one loss and make it in the conference championship is my prediction for how their conference schedule can go. Um, I think they have a chance to make the college football playoff still if they win the American Conference. I think that's what every team in the American should be thinking about. If you win this conference, you have a chance of making it to the playoffs. So I think FAU has to have a positive mindset and focus on the positives from this huge win.
Yeah, Blake, and there you could see the American Conference teams right there within
That's
those
for
tiers.
we lost SMU though, but pretty much the
Did,
same.
yes, we did lose SMU and we did add Army. So it is pretty much the same, but those are overall the teams there. And if you're FAU, I agree. You should be able to beat the Charlottes of the world. You should be able to beat Tulsa. You should be able to beat Temple. Those are teams. Rice. I mean, those are the teams that you have to win every single year against. We already know that they're 2-0 against Tulsa. They haven't played Memphis yet in football. This will be the first matchup in conference because FAU is new to the American Conference. They joined just 2 years ago. But Blake, college football playoffs is a crazy expectation. But if you want to make it, you have to
Not
have
not necessarily not necessarily an expectation. I'm saying more of a possibility if you win this conference because they are the strongest G6 conference by far, in my opinion. I think compared to what else is happening in the cultural landscape, I'm not expecting FAU to win. Go make the college football playoff. I'm saying it's a possibility if they play to their potential. I think this offense is very good. I think this defense is very good. I think the strength of this team is the D line on both sides of the ball. I love CJ to get. I love Bryce Langston. I love Wilkie Denon. The fact they're matchup nightmares. Those three guys are matchup nightmares for opposing offensive lines. That's going to be the key to this FAU team defensively and almost offensively because, I mean, we saw it against Maryland. When they were left out to dry, they struggled. And the offense had plenty of opportunities to score. I think last night we saw when we leave our offense on the field, the defense is great. So if we have a good cohesion, I think this offense is a quick strike, air raid offense. It's what Kitley does, but it almost needs to be slow. I almost want FAU to have a methodical 10-play drive to start a game to get their legs moving and grooving. I think we have to turn to the run. I think FAU's success is going to be through time of possession, and that's going to be the key to the season because we saw against Maryland when their time possession was low, that's when everything started to spiral out of control.
Yeah, Blake, and to make the college football playoffs and to have these teams that win the American or make the conference championship, you have to have a good quarterback. And let's talk a little bit about Caden Velkamp. Caden Velkamp with a great performance in yesterday's game. 5 touchdowns, 27 for 39, 70% completion percentage. You mentioned it. He was able to hit his guys, Jay Platt, Dom Henry, Easton Messer, Assad Wasim with 2 touchdowns there. Caden Velkamp, how would you assess his performance overall? And is he a top 3 quarterback in the conference?
I wouldn't go as far to say top three quarterback in the conference. I think the unanimous number one right now should be Byron Brown. But I think Velkamp could definitely enter into that. He's definitely in the top five, top three conversation. I did like how Velkamp played. He used his legs a little bit on some designed runs, a little bit, which was interesting to see because of his size. Um, Velkamp's bread and butter is going to be when he stays in the pocket, and that's when he's going to be able to succeed because he's going to have time to find his. I mean, Kinley has someone running straight down the field at almost every single play. And we saw yesterday when Kinley spaced out the field, that middle of the field can be wide open, and Velkamp did a great job of hitting his receivers in that sense. I mean, I remember very specifically, I don't know if it was the first or second quarter, but earlier in the game, he found Platt in the end zone for a touchdown right over the middle. And it was a pretty great ball against really good coverage by FAMU and ended up resulting in a score. I think Velkamp's accuracy was definitely on display yesterday. A good ball can always be good coverage. So I think if Velkamp's able to just find his receivers and he has time to throw, he's going to be very successful. Because I do believe these receivers can get open against pretty much any defensive secondary in college football. It's just a matter of him having time and being able to stay in the pocket. Because I think once Velkamp gets out of the pocket, obviously a great runner and a good scrambler, but his bread and butter is going to be sitting in that pocket and finding someone open and laying a dot.
Yeah, Blake, you may not have Caden Velkamp in the top three, not number one either. But you know what is number one? Our podcast, Night Owls, is the number one FAU podcast. On the bottom right side, you see number one podcast of your screen. So it is the number one. We do have NFL games today. So we talked a little bit about FAU. We could go on and on. I could ask so much more. Blake does want to watch these NFL games. So do I indeed. So for the last segment, we are going to just talk a little bit about the NFL quick predictions of these three games. And I'm going to ask you, Blake, real quick. Bills Ravens, who you got today?
I like the Bills at home. I think obviously Lamar's from down here, and he's a great player, great quarterback. But I got the Bills to start their season off with a W at home. That home crowd's going to be rocking. It's going to be the first game of the season for the Bills in their final season of their stadium, so it's going to be very fun to watch them. I think the Bills are going to get it done.
I could definitely see that. These two are the top two favorites to win the AFC after the Chiefs went down against the Chargers. So it is going to be a very interesting matchup and tell us a lot. Lions, Packers, two teams in the NFC in the same division. And they're both actually expected to have high expectations. Lions, obviously, a lot of people are picking them to win the Super Bowl. Who you got in this one?
You know, Micah Parsons is now the difference maker for the Packers. And I did read his injury report. He is going to play, but he's not going to play every snap. I think that hurts the Packers' defense, especially having to scheme up with something new without having Kenny Clark in the middle. Although he is nowhere near the level of Micah.
And guys, it looks like we lost Blake there. And yep, Blake has a black screen. He's going to try to leave and rejoin for you guys there. And if he does, we'll have him back up. But I am also going to agree with Blake. I like the lines here. Oh, Blake is back there.
Sorry, some technical difficulties. I'm back. I do have the Lions as well. I think they get it done in Green Bay. I like that offense. I like Hutchinson coming back. He's going to be a big boost.
And last one for Blake. Who do you got here? Do you got the Dolphins or the Colts? Your Miami Dolphins heading up to Indy. Do you think they're going to win?
Saints for the win again and again and again. Yeah, no, I got the Dolphins. I think we got to get this win. If we lose, I'm gonna be very sad.
He will be indeed. So, guys, root for the Dolphins. I know a lot of Fins fans are tuning in, but thank you guys so much for tuning in. We're going to let Blake go in this last segment. I am going to talk a little bit about the overall team win, but want to be aware of Blake's time. So, Blake, thank you so much for joining and enjoy your NFL Sunday.
Go FAU. Go check out the Twitter. Got some great videos on there. Watch this. Subscribe. Do all the whole 9 yards. NightOwls.com, the number one podcast. Have a great day.
You as well, Blake. So, I'm going to talk about this overall team win for you guys. So, when it comes to FAU as a whole, and Blake was talking about it, you have to be able to compete for a conference championship with the resources we get, with the recruits we get, with the talent we have, with the quarterbacks and wide receiving core. I mean, FAU overall has talent to compete, but it is really concerning because we are not at the level where we can upset a Florida. And I think the reason of that is not having a coach stability. Alex Golish has been at USF for a bit. Despite the hard seasons, they stuck with him throughout everything, and he was there for a while. So I think that we have to have that stability overall because Golish didn't leave. He didn't get fired. He was hired in 2023 and has stayed there. And now he's entering year three. FAU didn't give Herman a year three. They didn't even give him a full year two. So now, you have to have that coaching stability and be able to build up a program. Tulane, their coach obviously left a bit ago to Houston, but he stayed for 12 years. They were going to fire him. He stayed. Give Tilly as much time as you need. He's an up and coming head coach. He wants to be here. He's built for Boca Raton. But overall, this is a team win. I want to mention a few things on the defensive side. Leon Hart, the linebacker, he was looking really good. He let up a few, open passes to Dorian Fleming last week, who's Maryland's tight end. It's their number one pass catcher. He was playing a lot of man one-on-one with him, and he was letting him get open on drag routes over the middle. Yesterday, he was playing really good. He was able to blitz on some linebacker blitz packages called by Dewhurst, and he was really able to get after Florida A&M's quarterback R.J. Johnson, who FAU gave trouble to all day long. He was able to get a sack there. Wilkie to Nod came out the gate running. He was super good off the edge as well. And overall, it was a great team win, offense, defense, and special teams. Josh Roberts, can't forget about the punt block. But overall, FAU's 1-1 daily podcast every single day here on nightowls.com. Thank you guys so much for watching. See y'all in the next one, and go Owls.